Welcome back, guys. Today is an amazing day, and let me tell you why it's an amazing day. Today is the day that I start a cruiser guide series. Now, this series will be anywhere from 5 videos to 10 videos long. I'm not sure how long I want to make these videos, but I'm going to cover a lot of different subjects and a lot of different cruisers. But in today's video will be basic cruiser theory. What tier 10 grindable cruisers should you be getting to start with to help you get a better grasp on how cruisers should be played? And what is the third? Yes, the downsides to the different ways you can play cruisers. So I'll get into that later, but let's start with cruiser theory. Now, I'm sure, I don't know about any of you guys, but when I first started to play cruiser, it was 3 to 4 years ago. I've been playing this game for quite a while now. And whenever I ask people how to play cruiser, the astounding answer, no matter where I looked, whether it was Facebook, Reddit, or Discord, the consistent answer, which I would have thought is right, is you need to be cruiser. Like you need a cruiser's job, according to Facebook, Reddit, and Discord, is you need to be supporting your team. That's what cruisers were made to do. They weren't made to, be the star of the fleet, so to say. They were there to support the DD. They were there to support the battleship, whether that was because enemy planes were incoming, or the cruiser can give a DD an advantage in a gunfight, which is all very, very true and good. But what I found out very quickly is sometimes your random teammates, they tend to die sometimes. So whenever I first started playing cruiser, I was still getting better at the game, of course, but what I found was the more I played and the more I shot at DDs, I noticed my damage was not good. My damage was 30,000, 40,000 at tier 8. I was like, man, what is going on? And I did this consistently. I grinded to tier 10. I got Des Moines, I got Worcester, I got Cleveland. All of these, good ships. And I saw certain players have 80,000 damage in some of these ships. I'm like, how are they doing this? So I went and asked Discord, Facebook, and Reddit, how is this possible? And, I got some laughs like, dude, it's normal, or, all this other stuff. Some people also told me, oh, well, it's called farming. I was like, well, what's farming? And they explained to me farming is where a cruiser doesn't do any team play at all. And he just shoots at battleships. And they don't do anything for the team. They're not good for the game. This, that, and the other. I'm like, oh, then I shouldn't do that. Well, I continued down this road of I should just keep on shooting at DDs and doing this and doing that. And I got much better at it. Don't get me wrong. My aim improved significantly by playing Booster in Cleveland, which have notoriously bad arcs. And I kept on doing this and doing this and doing this. I'm like, okay, I must be doing something wrong. My win rate tops out at 60% solo, and it's not working. What am I doing wrong? Now, these are all questions that you should be asking yourself when you see consistent results that you do not enjoy. So I actually got on Discord and I found this guy named Durian, very, very good at the game, at least back then. And he taught me how to farm and how to farm effectively and when to farm. Now, when it comes to cruiser theory, this is supposed to be a beginner guide video, but this needs to be addressed. Cruiser theory, at least, okay, so there's the Facebook, Discord, Reddit. That's their own, that's how you should be playing cruiser. You should be, constantly helping the enemy or your team. You should always be helping your team by shooting down planes, doing less damage, but, helping the rest of your team stay alive and do better, which is very good. Team play is very important. But this is my theory on how to play cruiser. And this is 20,000 battles, I probably have somewhere around 5,000 hours in this game between most of it in cruiser. A lot. I play some battleship in DD. CV is gay. Stay away from it. Anyways, my theory on how to play a cruiser depends on the cruiser itself. You're not going to do as well running around the map, shooting at DDs and a Wooster. You're going to get 20k damage, maybe, if you're good at if you're good at shooting. But if you take something out like Austin or Minotaur or Hindenburg or Venezia, you're going to have much better success at shooting at DDs. Why is that? It's because those ships are designed to deal with DDs easier. Venezia has 15 guns with a little bit better arcs than Wooster. But if you hit a DD, you can hit them for 12 to 15,000 damage, where a Wooster will hit them for 5,000, but the chance of Wooster hitting all of his shells is much, much lower. So the way I play Cruiser is based on the cruiser that I'm playing. And it makes a lot more sense. But if you just listen to people on Discord or Reddit, all cruisers should be played one way, the team play way. Now, there's much better cruisers for that, but it depends what you're trying to accomplish. So let's just take Venezia for example. You should be targeting a DD off the start. Now, this goes for Amalfi, Brindisi, Venezia. If you have shots on the DD early game, you should be taking them. If they're giving you flat broadside, you should be taking those shots. Now, if they turn away and you're not going to be able to hit any shots on them, why shoot at them? Now, that's going to be a very hot take, and some people are like, oh, well, you should be shooting at the DD to make him get further away from the cap and this and that. That's all good and well, but that's a wasted shot. So there's very different ways of thinking about this, but cruiser theory really just breaks down to how each cruiser should be played. Salem and Des Moines, and this is the last one I'll hit on for cruiser theory. Salem and Des Moines have very, very good DPM, but their shell dispersion and their cruiser angles are not as good as something like Hindenburg. So how you play them is very different. These are more of your, I'm going to pick a fight with a cruiser and I'm going to come out on top because my DPM is so good. Des Moines and Salem will beat, and Buffalo will beat almost every cruiser at the tier. They beat all of these ships if, they're both on the same level of players, I mean. So it all depends on how each ship should be, and you should know when to farm and when to team play because both are very important. Now, to the second part, or the second to last part. What cruisers should you guys be getting in order to learn how to play cruiser and you're going to have most success to start off with? But it's still going to teach you on how to play cruiser effectively. My honest opinion, I'll start at tier 6. Most of these ships that you're going to want to get are going to be, I'll give Tech Tree. Pensacola is very good. This thing is considered a glass cannon, and it is that. These shells hit very, very hard. Let's see here. 817 damage. That's almost tier 10 damage per shell. Let's see Des Moines here. 908. So you have 100 damage less per shell than Des Moines. So you have the ability to hit 7,000 to 8,000 damage per salvo, but you're a glass cannon. You get hit very, very hard in return. So Pensacola is a good one. It's definitely probably higher on the difficulty. Dallas probably isn't as good. The immediate one that comes to mind that's very good at the tier is Nuremberg. So you have rear-facing guns, so it can help you stay stern into some battleships and not take as much damage. Bodioni's decent as well. You have more range. But I'll try to stick to tier 8 and above. Wichita is good. In my opinion, it's probably going to be a little bit more difficult for people to understand and play to start off with. But overall, it's a probably B+ ship to start learning on. I would definitely recommend Cleveland. Now, the downside to Cleveland is you have crazy high arcs, but it's not as bad, once you get used to them. So I'd recommend Cleveland because it'll teach you that there's more to this game than just shooting at DDs and cruiser. Um, yeah, I would 100% recommend Cleveland. And Hipper is also good. Now, if you guys have the ability and actually want to buy some cruisers, I would 100% recommend mines. You have the ability to hit DDs, and it requires you to aim well with AP. And overall, this is an amazing ship that will teach you the basics of cruiser and, give you the option of, oh, hey, look, there's a DD, I should try and hit it, versus, oh, I don't have good arcs, I shouldn't hit it. So mines is also a very good one. But if your guys' aim is to play tier 10, I would recommend you guys get Wooster. Wooster is, obviously my Wooster is decked out. Get back here. My Wooster's decked out. I have the legendary equipment. I have Kincaid. I have the Eagle camo. So my Wooster is definitely decked out for sure. But the reason why I say that this is a good starter ship is you're kind of a jack of all trades, if that makes sense. You have radar, so you can spot DDs. And like I was saying earlier, you can hit DDs with Wooster. They just have to put themselves in a bad spot. You can load AP and you can hit them for 5K salvo, which is amazing. It's just harder to do consistently. But this will teach you how to pick fights. It will also protect you from CV, mostly, because your AA is, I believe it's best in the game. There might be a couple battleships that are better, but I'd recommend Wooster. And the more I think about it, so Wooster is good for learning also how to dodge shells. San Martin is probably the second option. Very, very similar to Wooster. The one thing about San Martin is you have more damage output, but you only have AP. And you tend to get hit a little bit harder. But here, I'll show this as an example. The damage you can do in San Martin, now, as you can see, this is one of my highest ships. Of course, there's a couple battleships above it. But in terms of cruiser, it's one of the highest ships that I have because this ship has a much higher ceiling than Wooster. San Martin has one of the highest ceilings in the game, I believe, because the AP is so good. So with San Martin, let's see here. I think, yeah. So your detection is 8.2, so over half a kilometer better. So, like I was saying, San Martin and Wooster are probably the best that are going to teach you that on how to kite and also how to push. People don't think that Wooster can push. You can learn how to play islands with these. You can push up to an island and then hold an island. And, sometimes you can just be area denial for a lot of different ships, which is another very important point. But probably those two for light cruiser. Now, if you guys want like full on, like your DD main and you're trying to like go over to playing, I'd probably say Genon because this thing has an insane amount of torps, but this is a lot tougher to play. But for a light cruiser, for a beginner, I would probably recommend the Minotaur. You have three smokes, or three smoke generator twos, which is very nice. And your damage output with your guns is good. Your torpedoes are really good. This is probably the second best cruiser in the game, only behind San Martin. So I would 100% recommend Mino. If you guys want to go heavy cruiser, let's see here. What's a tier 10? Buffalo is a very good beginner heavy cruiser. Des Moines is also an option. Now, the one thing you have to keep in mind with if you do decide to get Des Moines is you have much lower range. So your range is 11.7. So if you're going to get a heavy cruiser, like Mossville is probably one of the best starting ships because you have battleship type range. And it's very easy to start out by playing Mossville. Hindenburg's a little bit tougher to play. I'll be honest, guys. Heavy cruisers are a little bit tougher to play because the game just isn't as nice to them. Hindenburg is good, but I don't think I would recommend it. So it probably does come down to for tech tree, probably Des Moines. Um, actually, Goliath's pretty good. This is tough, guys. So just heavy cruisers overall, I would not recommend people to get Venezia at the moment. I hope they give this thing a buff. It definitely needs it. Marseille is not in a place where this thing is any sorts of good. Do not get this ship, especially if you're starting out. If you guys get Marseille, you will hate cruiser for the rest of your life. Um, Marseille is more of a one of those ships that you get because you love a challenge and you want to see what you can do in a really bad ship. Henry is very, very good, but it's much harder to play. Um, I took off detection. I would not recommend doing this. Probably stay with concealment mod, but that's for a whole nother video. So Henry's good, but I don't think it's a starting cruiser. So Hindenburg is probably, yeah, the more I think about it, Hindenburg's probably one of the better cruisers for heavy cruisers if you guys want to get involved in that. I will be making videos on light cruisers and heavy cruisers and how to play both of them. The downside to playing heavy cruisers overall is Goliath, Hindenburg, Henry, Marseille, Venezia. All of these ships don't have very good AA, so the CV will focus you. So these medium to light cruisers on the AA department, they will protect you a lot better, where CV will most likely focus you if you're in heavy cruisers. So that's one downside of playing heavy cruiser, but the upside of playing heavy cruisers is, let me think about it. Yeah, there's not very many, but they're they are fun if you know how to play them. So that would be my recommendations. They're very, very few bad cruisers. Like even Zhao, guys. A lot of people don't like Zhao. Zhao is a very good cruiser. You have to know how to play it. You have to know how to put yourself in a good position. Very good ship. So that will wrap up the first video. The videos to come will actually have editing, but I kind of wanted to do it like Soulfire. This Soulfire has I like his one takes. They're really good. Most of the time he throws in a gameplay or two, but he's down to the point. I like it. So that's what I'm gonna do for the first video. And stay tuned.